the Oprah platform is mind-boggling, and for her to let me do the Oprah cruises with her. I'm in her new book. I'm in her last documentary. She's put me with all these thought leaders, a lot of them new age, coming from all walks of life, but yet there's a spirit-filled Christian Tim Storey right in the middle of them and hanging with them.
Ruslan.
And what's the balance between patience and correction and love, or even addressing some of their sins directly?
I think that I like to err on the side of love and err on the side of grace. And I feel like the closer you bring someone to Christ, that Christ changes their want-tos. So a lot of the guys that smoke a lot of weed, when I used to come into the studio, they would say like, whoa, don't smoke now because Tim's here. I mean, guys that we all know, okay?
Yeah.
And so then I started noticing the more I was coming in the studio, then they weren't smoking anymore. And I asked one guy that everybody knows, I said, what's up? And he says, Tim, I mean, like, the closer I'm getting to God, I'm just realizing this is not like good for me. So that's what I see. The closer someone gets to Christ, Christ changes their want-tos. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. It's almost like the law of replacement, right? If you fill your cup with Jesus, you fill your cup with pressing into God, being around godly people, praise, worship, word. A lot of times those things just slowly start to fall away. And I'll be honest, in my life, I've had friends, for example, someone that was multiple couples that would be living together before marriage, and I knew that they were being sexually immoral, and I would be like, all right, like, I'm around these folks are in my circle, I'm gonna have to have this talk with them at some point. And before I would always go and just pray for them. I would just go and pray, get on my knees for them, pray for them. God, you reveal yourself to them. You reveal this thing, how they can course correct it. And Tim, the majority, I'm talking 95% of the time, and this has happened quite a bit, within a week or two, they come back to me and they go, hey man, here's our wedding invitation. We're getting married. We were praying about this. God convicted us, and we're getting counseling with the pastor at the local church, and we're getting married. And it's always like blown my mind that a lot of times we want to go directly in for the rebuke, which the word is there for rebuke. There is a time to rebuke and there is a time to correct. But oftentimes, do we stop and get on our knees and legitimately pray and intercede for someone that God will do what he needs to do with them in that season? I don't think we do. I think Christians, we like the knee-jerk reaction of going, look, this thing in your life is wrong. I got to tell you about it. Instead of saying, wait a minute, have I gotten on my knees and prayed for this person, that the Holy Spirit would deal with this person directly with their sin?
Yeah, I like the way you think. So I like door number 2. Not door number 1.
Yeah.
I don't like the just right at you. It's almost like a basketball coach. Like one thing that made Phil Jackson so great is he didn't call so many timeouts. And his idea on that was, hey, I teach them in practice so I don't have to call timeout too much during the game. And I think that a lot of pastors are like the timeout guy. Like, you did something wrong, timeout. Let's correct it, timeout.
Yeah.
Time out. Yeah. And my way of coaching somebody and even parenting my children is realizing it's a journey. And, you teach people the right principles, and you become an example to them, and they see the joy in your life, the peace in your life. It becomes very contagious. And that's what I see working, guys, on big platforms. I mean, let's talk about the Oprah platform, because the Oprah platform is mind-boggling, and for her to let me do the Oprah cruises with her. I'm in her new book. I'm in her last documentary. I speak with her in these big conferences. We have amazing conversations, and she's put me with all these thought leaders, a lot of them new age, coming from all walks of life, but yet there's a spirit-filled Christian Tim Storey right in the middle of them. And hanging with them, and me having great discussions. I just interviewed recently Deepak Chopra, and people say, why did you do that? Because he's my friend. Different beliefs, but he's still my friend. He's a human being.
Yeah.
Well, have you brought him to Christ yet? No, I'm just talking to him as a human, and he's seen the Christ in me. So I think that's cool. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
how I see it.
Yeah, and last question on this Hollywood thing, and then I want to get into come back and beyond and miracle mindset. This is coming in from the chat. A lot of Christians consider Hollywood to be an evil place. What are your thoughts on the spiritual climate, as well as the evil gatekeepers and people having to sell their soul to be a celebrity? That whole shtick. I've talked about it on my channel a bit. My views are probably different than from a lot of my viewers on this. Well, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, we hear these allegations of all kinds of bizarre rituals, and I've been, I mean, I'm nowhere near as deep as you, but I've been around the rapper community for quite a bit, and I haven't seen any of this kind of stuff. I see people as sinful as hurt, and hurt people, and so. But what is your take on some of that kind of more, selling your soul type of stuff?
I think whether it be the models I've been around, or people that have been playmates, or people that are rappers or NBA players, NFL players, that when you have celebrity, you have access to more than the average person. And so I do believe that a lot of people get into access, and it can go deeper and deeper and darker and darker and darker. And so there is a segment of that world that I have seen. So there's no doubt about it. But I also think that a lot of people, what happens to them is they just get lost. And then it takes like your buddy, like Farnsworth Bentley, to come in and be like the light to some of these humans, and just care about them. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I see the dark stuff. I've seen some dark stuff, but I've also seen like good people that just got lost, like a Chris Brown. Like I've had great talks with Chris Brown. He was a young kid that got around a lot of Jesus, but got around also a lot of silly stuff. I remember I was walking in a Laker game, and I was walking through the floor, and Lil Wayne was like this in the seat, and he goes, "Hey, Kanye's pastor." I thought that was so funny. He goes, "Can I holler at you at halftime?" So I think that, let's be the light, and it exposes the darkness without even trying, right? And a lot of people then say, like, I'll have what they're having.
Yeah, that's good. There's a proverb that says an inheritance obtained too early in life is not a blessing in the end. And when you see young people who make the lion's share of their income between the ages of 18 to 25, and they say your brain, I don't know if this is true, but they say your brain's not fully formed until you're 25. And now you have infinite access to access, infinite access to sin, infinite access to indulge in whatever drug, to get access to any type of girl you would ever imagine. It creates this recipe of self-destructive behavior that I think, like you said, is folks that start out with good intentions that kind of get sucked into it, and then there's full-on darkness that happens to some of these.
Well, that's
folks.
why you're so good, and that's why I reached out to you. That was brilliant right there, because you're right. They have access to stuff that the guy who works at Jiffy Lube does not have. I mean, the guy who works at Dunkin' Donuts does not have that kind of access.
Yep.
It's crazy, like what these humans are offered and how people look up to them is crazy. Like, I mean, look at Kylie Jenner. I mean, when I used to see her years ago, I used to think, bless her heart, she's not as tall as her sister, And now the lady's a billionaire, but imagine what comes at somebody like that, and just the worship and the way people, some of the young girls look up to her. Like a lot of times when I go speak at these events, I'll say like, who do you look up to? Like I say to the young girls, they're like, Kylie Jenner. It's very interesting. It's very interesting stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, man. And so because of all that, because of what we just talked about, that's why I tend to say, hey, man, have mercy on these people, have grace on these people. I don't know what I would be like if I was their age with that kind of access. I probably would have been worse off if I had that kind of access at that age, that kind of money. You know, people want to look at a Justin Bieber and be like, oh, he's such a derelict. And it's like, man, this kid was a celebrity at 14, 15 years old. So I think as to come full circle to the what could the church do better, I think a lot of it is just honestly have grace, mercy on a lot of these folks and pray for them. Like really be praying for them. If you want to see change, like you've seen change, like we're all seeing change, I think on a macro scale within some of the entertainment, especially with new media. I think we need to be praying for these brothers and sisters that they would surrender.
Can I take you to another place besides just that for a minute?
Please.
Is that I think that like let's say with Bieber, okay. Mm-hmm. He is so talented. I mean, a lot of people thought he'd only last so long, but I like how he started getting in with other producers that took his sound to different places. I mean, he can go anywhere from with Quavo to Ed Sheeran and do something good. But the thing is, that's just something he's good at. What I've been able to be around is the best artists in the world, the best writers in the world, the best poets in the world, the best piano players in the world. We need to get off the art is just this celebrity thing like these people.
Yes.
Like these people. I mean, let's talk about these amazing creatives that are not on TMZ.
Yeah.
And so I've had the privilege of having these amazing summits like in Marbella, Spain, and some of the brightest minds from Europe come in and you get to share with them that are changing the world, that are like the top people in AI. I recently was asked to come to speak at Nassau. That was amazing. I did this thing recently with the Dalai Lama, me, Quincy Jones, and will.i.am. I was speaking to the people at Google X. I mean, that's exciting too.
Yeah.
Let's reach out into all these different categories.
Come on.
It's not this little tiny cluster at all.
Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan.
Hey, thank you so much for making it till the end of this video. If you found it valuable, please consider giving it a like and subscribing. You can check out one of the other videos related to this that'll be over here. Now, I gotta tell you about a free training I have for anyone that is an entrepreneur, a creative, an artist, but maybe you are unsure on how to find your voice, how to find your niche. I have a free training in the description of this video. Check it out. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you on the next video.